I think so. I think it's really crucial, and like you said, cross training I think is really important because I mean that's what we even did a little bit of CrossFit for a little bit, but we pretty much try to pick up all these different disciplines to do that because I feel like the more knowledge you have in different disciplines, because it seems like every discipline we go into, like breakdancing, kung fu, you get an epiphany and you unlock different things in your body that you didn't know was even possible.
Right.
So it's like it almost becomes addicting. You start going in these different disciplines and opening up your mind and your body to these different ways of training. So I think it's really good to be well-rounded, at least to be a well-rounded athlete. And one of the things we've been able to test is, I don't know if you're familiar with the show American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? And that's supposed to be like, the hardest obstacle course in the world. And we were on the show for about 2 years. We'd go around and we helped set up the course. We set up the difficulty levels on it, and we would test each course. But we'd also see all the athletes run through it. And something like that, you have to be just a pure athlete, and you have to be training different things to really conquer a course like this. And what we found is people who do parkour, rock climbing, different mixtures of training did the best. And overwhelmingly. And so from seeing that, it really showed us that doing, like you were saying, cross-training different elements instead of just focusing on one is crucial for that, to be the ultimate athlete.
Yeah. That's so powerful. Well, if you guys were to make the ultimate athlete, you just mentioned a few things, right? Because I was surprised. I love American Ninja Warrior, by the way. It's such a cool show. It's such a different type of show where they're honoring people's movement rather than, something lame. So something like regular reality TV. But I was surprised to see how well the rock climbers, specifically the boulderers, do on that because of the degree of upper body strength. You see a lot of these parkour guys who just do parkour, they can't hold on to a rope with one hand in a 90-degree position, which I can't either. But that's incredible, right? So you have to have those multiple disciplines. What activities would you guys give someone if they came to you and said, "I want to be the ultimate ninja warrior"?
Okay. Well, I mean, luckily we were in California for about 2 years, and during this time we got to train a lot with. We were in a stunt team called the Blue Eight, and so we got to train with these different people with different backgrounds. And the best disciplines that we found as far as athletes that were in stunts that did really well, they had a mix of these different things, and it was parkour, dance, yoga, and martial arts, and then usually some sort of rock climbing, some sort of experience.
But if I was going to go directly into Ninja Warrior and I just wanted just the pure, like exactly what you need to do well, rock climbing, bouldering, probably specifically. Getting comfortable on mini tramps. That's one. We've seen so many people get knocked out on mini tramps. Just that simple thing knocked a lot of people out.
So do the gymnastics vault, huh?
Exactly. Just those little things, because they have those objects there, and it knocks a lot of people out who have the strength and the capability. They just don't know how to work the mini tramp.
Right.
So you have rock climbing, mini tramp skills, and parkour, and you're pretty much good with that. If you just want to focus purely on Ninja Warrior and get ready for it, those three things will help. Specifically with the parkour, the wall run is with the warped wall, because a lot of people go out on that one.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. You know what? I know that if I were to try that thing, I would be pitifully disappointed with my performance. Is that as hard as it seems, running up one of those big giant walls like that?
Most of it is technique.
Yeah. So it's just shifting your body weight the correct way, so you don't just run into the wall in front of you.
And then the steps,
because we one of the things we did is during one of the shows is they needed people to practice on the warped wall, so they had us come in and teach people how to run it. And it's basically, you have a set of steps that you take, and then again, like you said, body positioning.
Yeah,
that's really the key elements.
And what we tell, because it was night and day. Once we told them the technique, they would be struggling to get up the wall, and then once you told them the technique, it's like, oh, and they're just getting up it. And basically what we were telling them is you got to ride the curve. So you kind of just run up the curve, and then you explode on the last step. And it's a 3-step motion. For most people, it was a 3-step motion.
Interesting.
And just keeping that body, so you kind of ride up the wall. This is where you can kind of lean back a little bit just to kind of ride up. But once you go for that explosive step, that's when you got to shift your chest forward.
I gotta wonder if somebody who has like half pipe experience would naturally be good at that, you know? Because
Yeah.
I always see most people not doing that correctly because they're afraid of leaning backwards as they're going up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting, guys. Well, I have a couple more questions for you, and then we'll call this one a day. So
All right.
let's talk about if somebody had less time. We talked about an hour or something like that. A lot of the people on the podcast are probably still trying to lose weight. They might not be able to do some of these things. Let's say you had 10 minutes in a workout 3 days a week, maybe as a warm-up or something like that. What would that look like in order to get somebody moving better and get them kind of on a general guideline towards perhaps experiencing some degree of parkour?
Yeah, that's a great point you raised, because we get that question a lot too in our emails and stuff. Because nowadays a lot of people are busy with work, or they have things they got to do, and it's got to be really quick. And what we found is the best is you take those basic principles of the functional fitness. So you're doing carry throughs, you're doing butt scoots, you're doing QM, but you put them in a very fast circuit. So you're doing circuits of this, and then you can also burn a lot of fat doing this as well. So you're building up the coordination, you're building up the flexibility and mobility, but you're also burning fat.
Yeah, and really, if you do just about 10 to 15 minutes, or I mean, if you just do 10 to 15 minutes of this, of a circuit like that, with all these different functional workouts, because you're working so many different muscle groups at the same time, you're burning a lot, and really, you don't have to do too much to see some sort of results just by doing that.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So do you think that, let me ask you this, have you guys ever had results with people actually losing a lot of body fat by just doing circuits of these kind of basic exercises?
Yeah, actually, we've had a Give It challenge the past 3 years, and the last one we had, I think, how many people we had? Like 4,000 or something? We had quite a bit of people in there, and the workouts we gave them were short, like 5 to 10 minute workouts, and there were these circuits. And the results that these people got were pretty amazing. But
just in 30 days, you'd have people lose 10 pounds. We had a guy lose 30 pounds, one Get Fit challenge.
30 pounds in 30 days?
Yeah,
I mean, that's about as good as it gets. From all the challenges I've run, the most I've ever seen was 35 pounds in I think that was 42 days, though. So, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But,
but not only the workouts, though, like we found, it was more than just the workouts, was the mental aspect as far as having the accountability, making it a challenge, having a group that you're constantly coming to, show your results and stuff like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Those transformation challenges, when people are accountable to each other and they're all motivated, it's when you see such amazing changes in people. I wish I could just keep them motivated for month 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and so on and so forth.
That's the crucial thing.
That's the hard part. Well, that's a cool thing to think about, is instead of doing, your conventional, maybe metabolic exercises, jumping rope, kettlebell swings, whatever, you could just replace them with some sort of parkour drill circuit in order to improve your movement capacity at the same time you're burning calories.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, I have one final question for you. I like to ask everybody this one final question. You guys are some awesome parkour guys. You're very successful online. You have a big following of people following you, trying to learn these skills. What's your secret to success? I'll let you guys each have your own secret to success, so go ahead.
That's a good question. I think probably
Go ahead.
Oh, you want to go?
You go.
I think probably the biggest thing for me was finding the importance of writing down the goals I actually want to accomplish, and having them everywhere I could see them. So like having a sheet of paper in my pocket that has down the goals that I want to get, and constantly focusing on those goals, and pretty much not letting anything else distract me from it. And that was really the biggest point, or the biggest thing that I found for success. And I actually picked that up from Zig Ziglar a long time ago. And that was like a few years before we even, had a following or anything, or was even that well-known in parkour. And that's what completely changed it for me, was actually writing down my goals specifically, and then making sure I could see them every day.
Yeah, for me, it was a vision. So it's like having the mental image of what I see myself in the future as, and the things that I want in my life, and having a really strong vision of what that looks like. And really, because then it just makes it more attainable. And the more you have that vision, the more you're constantly thinking about it, the easier it seems to become, and the more those things just start to come into your life. And so for me, it was the vision.
No, that's fantastic. Those are both really great tips. I love how simple it is to write down your goals and put them on your fridge and in your pocket and stuff. And yet, maybe 1 out of 100 people listening to this will do that. So get off your butts if you're listening to this right now and write down your goals and carry them around with you for the next 30 days. Your first goal should be, I will write down my goals and carry them around with me for 30 days. Right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us.
Definitely.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.